should be live. Yeah, we're live. Nice. I just gotta like listen to myself real quick. I don't know if I sound good or not. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Dude, I'm not signed in to any of these accounts here. That's crazy, bro. I need a different phone. Or I could just look up myself, actually. What am I talking about? I'm an idiot. Oh, there we are. Alright, walkie-talkie. I think the volume's pretty good. Right? That is latent. This latency's really crazy though. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're cooking right now. Absolutely cooking. Alright, so we're actually in the middle of doing a few things at once, per usual. That's how it is being a serial entrepreneur out here in this 2026 world. Got my coffee. I gotta eat my sandwich before I can even start doing any work, but we're gonna kick things off. Hey. Oro is going to be a Creator OS SaaS, by the way. So we're going to do planning with that. MVP. Why can't I do that? Okay then. Then we got to do a bunch of shit for this YouTube channel. Then I got to do a closer HQ updates. That's the game plan for today, boys. It might be a little laggy just because we're on a laptop. All right, let's get back into it. I should pull up chat somehow. Hold on, let me see how we're gonna do this exactly. Oh man, I'm hungry. All right, let's see. Okay, yeah, this is where we're at. So I have pricing monetization. Basically what I'm doing here, guys, is go back to the top here. We created a project inside of Claude, and we're beginning to plan everything out. So we're gonna go ahead and enable ask user questions tool and instruct Claude to build the SaaS for us, or a PRD for us, product requirement document, and then we're going to go ahead and have it ask us a lot of questions just to finalize that PRD, because if you don't really have a quality planning session, you're really going to have a shit output of a product. So while I kind of get that going, I'm going to take a bite out of my sandwich because it's cold right now. And basically how I'm going about doing all this is I'm essentially just copying in these questions and kind of just debating back and forth with Claude how I would like to go about it. So yeah, so that's that. And then on the back end, we're also working on our OperatorHQ agency website and our ad spend agency website. So 2 websites, 1 SaaS, 2 websites, 1 SaaS, and then my internal closer, like operating tool that I have for my closers. Gonna lower the volume because I can barely hear myself think. I don't have chat open, so I'm gonna have to take a look at this. How the hell do we go about doing this? YouTube Studio, I think. I'm gonna download that for. Cool. All right, what do we got cooking here? If anyone knows how I can like look at my chat, let me know. I'm in YouTube Creator Studio on my phone, but I don't really see a chat feature here. Interesting. It'd be crazy if there's no chat feature, bro. There's gotta be a chat feature. Oh, I have live chat pulled up. All right, we're cooking. It'd be crazy if there's no chat feature. There's gotta be a chat feature. Oh, I have live chat pulled up. All right, we're cooking. Excuse me. All right, let's do this. What's your monetization plan? This architecture, multi-tenancy credit. All right, so I think option 3, like hybrid, would work. Yeah, I think that would work. Yeah, I like option 3. However, I think it's also important to note that in order for us to like kind of leverage dirt cheap inference, models like Kimi K2.5 that just came out like are on par with Opus 4.5. So I think if there are any workflows or pipelines that we could go ahead and integrate into the system or into the product that can use that model for whatever the case is, I think we definitely should take advantage of that. But at the same time, like this being a creator OS for, you know, influencers or content creators or businesses that are wanting to deploy content and create content, I think it should also have the model of like how Higgsfield has it or Artlist.ai has it set up, where you choose those models, but based on the models that you choose, you get either to bring in your own API keys, or if you have a tiered subscription that we offer, you get credits towards those models. And then of course you could go ahead and top them up, or whatever the case is, if you run out of credits. Okay, so I've got additional clarification. And I have our initial one. Cool. So we're going to send this over to Claude. Alright, next question, budget. What is your budget situation for external services, or will need paid APIs, LLMs, transcription, whisper, deepgram, image gen, hosting? Are you prepared to meaningful monthly API cost during development? I'm comfortable with spending whatever, but at the same time, while we're building, I think we should save costs, no? So Claude just sent me this question. I'm thinking, like, honestly, like, while we're building things out, I think we should keep costs minimal and use open source models, self-hosted where possible, and optimize it for low burn. But at the same time, it should be set up in a way where we could switch on and, you know, invest into the best available APIs to create and have the best services to build the best product that we can, right? So I just need to kind of formulate that so that Claude understands that model. Because ultimately too, like, if a user comes on and they don't want to have, you know, the best available APIs, and they are more of like a cost-effective user, then we should have, you know, that pipeline, that workflow already set up for them to use if they wanted to, right? So that's why I think just it might benefit us to do both. What are your thoughts? Guys, I'm going to close this screen out and bring it down here so you guys can take a look at what we're speaking about. And I'm going to put my Gemini or anti-gravity up here. Links. Yeah, that's good. And this is it basically, guys. Like, you're using smart models. Like, you're not as smart as they are, right? They're gonna identify everything that needs to be identified and is gonna be pushed out. So now it's asking me some questions here. Yeah, multi-provider by design. Yep. I definitely want to be multi-design. Oh yeah, I accidentally clicked enter, but it was the right answer anyway, so we could submit that. I gotta be careful with that stuff. I think we should like change up the way that we have things being displayed on this screen. See how it's like asking me all these questions, guys? And that's what you want your AI to be doing. Okay, so given the ship MVP in weeks timeline, I need to understand your priorities. If you had it to ship Aura in 2 to 3 weeks with only one of these working well, which would it be? Decision engine tells you what the next post platform hook timing based on your data. Execution is minimal. Execution engine, upload content. I mean, quite honestly, like all of them are important. I don't know if Claude is just asking us to kind of prioritize what it should work on first. I'm assuming, but in whichever case, I think, quite honestly, all 4 of those are important. did it again, dude. I need to watch out. So it's asking me the AI toolkit you described, the image, video, voice generative, node-based editing, negative prompts, reference images, templates, a substantial product surface. How should we handle this for MVP? I think it's a core product, quite honestly. Well, the thing is, like, I do believe that it is core to the product, so I think we should let Claude know about that. Sure, we could have a minimal viable version out there, but, you know, having the node editing and advanced tooling kind of not completely built out, but having a clear path forward for us to continue building on top of it is probably going to be key here. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot that we're gonna be cooking here, that's for sure. I'm only gonna spend probably the next 10-15 minutes on this until it's done with the questionnaires. Just because we have a lot of other things that we need to work on. For Instagram API integration, your primary platform, are you aware that Instagram official API has significant limitations? Reading analyst requires business creator account, meta app review, posting has restrictions, some data requires unofficial methods. Interesting. Not really. Like, we have a developer account, if that's what it's saying. This is legal product velocity questions. You are already intuitively in the direction for you. We need to articulate it in those way. Keep our legit keeps first the non-negotiable truth about Instagram. You cannot build Oracle's core on scraping, private APIs, brutal, unofficial methods. Not because it's wrong philosophically, but because you're building a platform, not a hack. Core posture 5, combing 1 plus 3, combining 1 and 3, which is aware, build what's possible. And 3, start with manual input. MVP doesn't require API creators manually input their performance data and content. I mean, I kind of don't mind it scraping, right? So I'm kind of confused because it's saying that Instagram's official APIs have significant limitations, like, and then it's also saying all these other things, but how are other platforms capable of doing this, right? And sure, like, we'll get whatever, you know, meta business manager API developer accounts that we need in order to get what's needed to like build this out the way that we envision it. So I'm kind of just confused with what the restrictions here are, if any, And then even more to that point, I think that if we do come across something that needs to use a unofficial method to get the job done, I don't see it as like a red flag, quite honestly. Like if it's something that exists in the marketplace and we could go ahead and do it, I think we should definitely incorporate it into our workflow and enable those things to be done. But if there are significant security risks, then yeah, maybe we should, rethink those things and not necessarily push that through. Yeah, but going back to what you said, I think that we should lean into, quite honestly, 1, 2, and 3. Probably more so 1 and 3, but 2, like, I guess it depends on what it is exactly, right? Also, didn't like Meta just recently come out with new APIs that allows us to look at impressions of all their ads, for instance? So yeah, sure, we won't necessarily need to look at content. Well, I mean, yeah, we will need to look at content because at the end of the day, we want to give people the analytics of what is a viral video and help them replicate that. But at the same time, like, one of the main use cases is people are going to be creating advertisements with our platform. So having the ability to scrape ads from the ads library, for instance, with Meta, is super crucial in our build out process here. And also, like, we have to look into like all the newly available APIs that Meta has, and then quite honestly build out a system on the back end that allows us to scan for new API releases, whether that's monitoring the Meta developer blog or their channels, or whatever the case is. Yeah. Cooking up over here, boys. Okay, I'm going to add it to whatever you just said earlier here. All right, next is authentication. This guy's just cooking over here, bro. I think simple auth, quite honestly. Yeah, perfect. We're on the same page here, brother. Uh-oh. Perfect. Submit those answers, por favor. We're cooking. This is it. Anthropic did not block cursor. What are they talking about? Why would they do that? I actually do want to watch this.
The founder of Kimi. 6 months ago, we released Kimi K2. It was the first open model to scale pre-training to 1 trillion parameters. Later, we introduced Kimi K2 Thinking. It scaled the thinking time of agents for solving long horizon tasks. It performed interleaf thinking with tool calling for up to 300 steps, all on its own. Today, we're dropping our latest model, Kimi K2.5. K2.5 is a powerful model that excels at agents, coding, vision, and general capabilities.
Yeah, bro.
It is open source. K2.5 sets new records on the most challenging agentic benchmarks, including Humanities Last Exam, BrowseConf, and Deep Search QA. K2.5 is also a very strong coding model. We didn't just want Kimi to code, we wanted it to have an eye for design. It weaves designer-grade websites that flow with grace and visual poetry. K2.5 lowers the barrier of entry with the vision capabilities. Simply upload a screen recording. Kimi K2.5 will rebuild it from scratch with clean professional code. Going beyond front-end design, K2.5 is great at software engineering. Kimi Code is our new coding product. Kimi Code supports images and videos as inputs. It also automatically discovers existing skills into your working environment in Kimi Code. Next, Office. To make Kimi even more helpful in your daily workflow, K2.5 has mastered the core skills of the Office suite. Whether it is building a complex dimension model, handling the formatting of a professional PDF, or crafting a consulting level deck, we want to give that power to everyone.
That's awesome.
That used to take days, like merging 50 different department reports or turning a 30,000 word paper into a precise pitch deck, now happen in 10 minutes. With K2.5, we go from one agent to an agent swarm. Instead of asking one agent to do everything, K2.5 creates and coordinates a swarm of specialized agents to work in parallel. These specialized agents are essentially copies of K2.5, but with different roles and different subtasks. Nothing is predefined. The roles and subtasks are created on the fly by K2.5. Running in parallel substantially reduces the time needed for a complex task. For market research spanning 100 companies, it orchestrates a swarm of analysts for turnaround in minutes, not weeks. For complex translation projects of 300 pages, it mobilizes a team of linguists for rapid, accurate delivery. For literature synthesis across 50 papers, it builds 10 senior researchers.
Kimi K2 is cooking, bro. That's all I gotta say. Kimi K2 is cooking. Let me listen to this real quick. Change it up a bit. All right, let's do this. Question not about optimism. It's about designing interface layer to work together layer, blah, 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 blah. The real situation, Claude needs to hear this. Okay, what are you asking me? For the creator DNA intelligence layer, what data do you realistically expect to have in week 1 or 2 for your account as the first user? This determines how much the decision can actually do at launch. Can you explain to me exactly what they're asking for here? I'm kind of confused. Like, my understanding is, like, I don't really know, with the intelligence layer, are they asking for, the decision engine can only reason from inputs. Claude needs to know whether it should assume rich historical analytics, partial history, no history at all, or fake sample data. Yeah, but like, what's the purpose of this? Is what, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're saying rich historical analytics or partial history, no history at all. Like, what are we exactly looking at here? You know what I'm saying? Oh, so you're seeing from like the user? Like the way that I'm imagining it is user authenticates with their account information. There's a sync that happens, and all that information is then synced to our internal platform, and it goes to the appropriate dashboards that we have, or however. And then there's also pipelines and workflows that go on in the back end to make sense of all of that information and provide almost like a guided suggestion of or an approach to how they should go ahead and start, creating the next pieces of content. So yeah, it's one thing to have like their own personal historical data on there, but it also doesn't necessarily require it. Like I could be basically starting a brand new Instagram page and log into our platform here and be able to start, creating content. But the whole thing is like the thing that is super powerful is the ability for us to see what all the trends are in the marketplace at any given time and replicate those trends or suggest content that will replicate those trends, right? So whether that be scripting something for the user for them to kind of record themselves and then input that content in here and then have it all be able to be edited on the platform, or where it kind of analyzes a video that in the last week did more than 5 million views, anywhere from 2 to 10 to 15, 20 million views, and they're seeing a correlation of those types of videos on the platform across multiple users, and they could go ahead and suggest that this is the type of video that you should make. And then even a step further from that is if like the user doesn't want to put their content in, we should have the ability for generative media to be able to create that content. So by prompting accordingly, by being able to, review those viral videos and then basically create prompts that will use the user's likelihood and image to basically have their own avatar inside of that video that is viral created for them, and just things like that, right? It's not just the things that I just said here, but we have to think like all the things that I just mentioned here and have those types of pipelines and workflows mapped out. Well, I mean, I still need to know what I'm supposed to respond to Claude here. So can you give me a detailed response? I don't really like this, bro. We should change it up a little bit. I mean, it's good, but it's not terrible. Alright, what's your comfort level with writing prompts and configuring AI behavior? This affects how much prompt engineering needs to be baked in versus exposed. Well, I mean, I feel like me personally, I'm not going to be the one that's writing these prompts, right? Like there should be prompts that are already baked into like specific templates that we want, for instance, an output to look like. Like for instance, like a workflow would be we research a viral video and we take that viral video, we categorize it like based on like I don't know, we could change the filter to say recent trending videos, and we actually see those trending videos. We click on one of those videos, and then when we click on those videos to have it kind of replicated or done in our vision, it automatically has a prompt prepared for us to get us that similar output. And if it's, you know, cut up into, you know, multiple scenes, like 10 scenes, then per scene has to have that prompt created already for us. But also, similar to how Artlist and Higgsfield and all those work, where the user actually creates the prompt. So it's up to the user to prompt the models. So we have to have that option baked in where, you know, yeah, they could pick a template of a trending video, but they could also, you know, edit those prompts the way they want, but then in a completely different, you know, workflow where they're building from scratch. They could start, you know, prompting however they want to prompt in order to get the outputs that they want to get. All right, video audio processing is computationally expensive and slow. For MVP, how should we handle long form content, 1 hour podcast and YouTube video? Yeah, I mean, like, it should feel snappy, definitely, but like if it's showing partial results quickly and those results aren't quality results, then I don't want it to have that behavior, right? I rather just, get it done properly. But at the same time, like, also I'm thinking, like, one of the best open source models right now is Kimi K2.5, so having, that model do some of the heavy lifting for us, I think can also, maybe this is the wrong place to mention that, but I feel like that. Hello! What's up, Opus? Come here, give me a hug. Come here. What's that? That's an envelope? Good morning. Wow, thank you for envelope. Can I get a hug? Can I get a hug? What's up? What's that? That's a coffee. That's Daddy's coffee. How you drinking coffee? How'd you sleep? Yeah, you drinking coffee. Yum, 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 yum. What you doing? No, that's Coca-Cola. That's not for Benji. That's not for Benji. Mommy gonna go get Benji some leche.
Where's that?
Where's that? Where?
What's that?
Where?
Who's that?
So who's gonna feed my child? Go, mommy gonna give you leche. And change your diaper because you got a stinky diaper. Go. Oh, whoa. Where is it? Where is it? Get out of here. Let's go. Mommy gonna give you leche. Go. Oh, stinky butt. Yeah, I mean, snappy, definitive, but in product. I'm sitting, heavy lifting. Oh, it's more? Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. We're gonna pause this right here because we gotta get situated. We'll be back. So yes, Pupush, what's going on? You're streaming a